and welcome to another rig making video. And in this video I'm going to show you how to make a 2-hook clipped rig. Here's the rig here. I'm just going to show you one. Here's one I made earlier basically. So there's the lead weight on the bottom, got a hanging snap with a swivel, lead weight clips too. We've got the rig body that's made out of Skyline, and that's 060. Got a bait clip. You can see the hooks clip down as we come back up. We have the swivel there for the bottom snood, and then just above that you can see the second hook clip down, and then as we run along to the top end of the rig you'll see the second hook snood in position there, and you'll see the hanging snap at the top. So I'm going to show you how I make this rig, what not to use and what components you need. So the first thing you need for this is the two different straps of line, one for the rig body and one for the hook snoods. So again, as in my previous videos, I use Skyline. This line is the best line on the market, I think, for its price and for its diameter to strength. It's a carbon coated line, so it's 20% fluorocarbon, so it's got great invisibility, it's got tremendous durability, it's really abrasive resistant, and the diameter is, it just can't be beaten for the breaking strain. So for the rig body I'm using the 43 kilo, so that's sort of nearly 90 pound. Well, it is over 90 pound there. It's only 0.60, so that's the same as most of your 60-70 pound leaders. And then for the hook snoods I'm going to use this 21 kilo, which is 0.40. I'm using this, it's quite strong. I'm using this matched up with the hooks there, which are 2.0s, so I'm using 2.0 Aberdeen hooks. If I was to go down to a 1.0 Aberdeen hook, I would then lower the hook snood line. If I went down to a size 1, I would then go down again in the hook snood line, and I'd match the line thickness to the hooks. So this is the next component you need, 2 hooks, and you want to match the size to the target species. This rig that I'm using is targeting sort of any, I'm scratching for anything around, so dogfish, whiting, pouting, flatfish if they're around on the bottom. So 2.0 is a good size, good general size for a decent worm bait to be put out. Then 2 of these swivels with beads moulded through. These are just off of eBay, China I think. These rigs are not intended to hook big fish, be put under a lot of strain, so I'm happy with these components. I mean, they're not that inferior, they're good enough to get in what I need to get in, and I can save money buying these in bulk. I then need a hanging snap with a swivel for the base of the rig. I've got a hanging snap there. For the top of the rig I've got 2 bent rig bait clips there. They're for both snoods to tie down to. I've got 6 blue beads up there, as you can see in the groove, 2 sequins, and float stops to act as worm stops on the snoods. So let's get round to building it. First things I've done is I've cut some of the Skyline 43 kilos to 1.20 m length. That's matching the length of my rod. My rod is sort of 15 foot, so I can get away with a longer rig body, and I can cast that with ease. If you've got a 12 foot rod, you want to maybe shorten that down to have and work with a metre length of line and build your rig on that. Obviously the longer rod allows you to cast a slightly longer rig, and I quite like a longer rig because it spaces out my baits a little bit more. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the bottom of the rig. I am going to tie the hanging snap there on to the bottom of the line. Now this is going on with a uni knot, grinner knot, whatever they're called, I think, Duncan knot, And what I will do, hold on, just get this tied. I haven't left too much of a tag there. There. Right, there's that tied on, and I'll just put a link up top there. Click on that. That shows you how to tie this knot. Very simple. So cut that off. Then from that, we are going to slide on the first bit of rubber of the bait clip. So I just basically spit through that bit of rubber, just so it slides down easily. And then we're going to slide that bit of rubber over the bent bait clip. Right, there's that in place. Now, there's your hanging snap, there's your bait clip. Next thing, blue bead. So thread the blue bead line, thread the blue bead on the line just above the bait clip. And then you want to leave, that's probably 5 inches, 6 inches from the hanging snap. I'm going to tie a figure of 8 knot. And again, the link up the top there. It's a quick animated knot. Show you how to tie the figure of 8 knot. Done. That's what we've got now at the bottom of the rig. Your hanging snap for your lead, bait clip, bead, figure of 8 knot. The bead is just to protect the knot a little bit, to protect both the component from the knot and the knot from the component. Just gives it a smooth transition. Then from that knot, above that knot, I'm going to go possibly 8 inches, another figure of 8 knot. Next, another blue bead, then a swivel on its moulded bead, then another blue bead, slide them all the way down to that second figure of 8 knot there, and then directly above that last bead we tie another figure of 8 knot, basically holding those 3 components in place, and you can just manipulate that down so that's as tight as you can get to the swivel. There we go. That's your bottom swivel on for the bottom hook snood. Then we're going to slide the next bit of rubber, just moisten that, that slides on down to just above that swivel. We then slide that over the bait clip, like so. Then blue bead. And what you can do with the beads, I'm keeping these all the same colour. Now if you're going to do different rigs in different sizes, if you're going to do the same rig but in different sizes with maybe different braking strains, you could maybe do like a traffic light system. So you could use green beads on the light rig, you could then use orange beads on your medium rig and red beads on your heavy rig, and then at a quick glance you'll know what rig you're grabbing. It'll allow you to differentiate between the rigs that you've built. So again, from that knot, that figure of 8 knot above the swivel, I'm then going to give it 5 inches and tie another figure of 8 knot just above the last bead that I've put on. And then from this figure of 8 knot, I'm going to go about 8 inches there, tie another figure of 8 knot, and then we're going to get the last components on for the top snood. So we do again blue bead, do the swivel with the bead, another blue bead, and to finish it off and hold it in place, we do another figure of 8 knot. Like so. That's your top swivel for your hook snood in place. Then here I've got what, a foot left of line, so I'm going to put the hanging snap down, and I'm going to probably leave there, which is about 8 inches from the top hook snood to the hanging snap, and then I'm going to tie a uni knot again, uni grinner knot, because this is thick line. 4 turns is enough. And you can do this into like 150-pound mono. You can get away with 3 turns. That holds. And if you're doing this knot on rigs that are going to hold big fish and be put under a lot of strain, you can always just run a lighter and blob the end of the knot, just to give you extra security. Right, so that's your rig body built. Go from the bottom, swivel a hanging snap. You've then got your bait clip and your bead, figure of 8 knot. That's 5 inches there. Then above that figure of 8 knot, I've got about 8 inches. And we go to the bead, the swivel, the bead, another figure of 8 knot. And basically it starts again. We've got the bait clip, the bead, and a figure of 8 knot. That figure of 8 knot is about 5 inches above the figure of 8 knot that's on the bottom snood. Then we go 8 inches between the next 2 knots. Bead, swivel, bead, knot, and then your top hanging snap for your rig. So now we're going to cut 2 lengths, 21 kilo for your hook snoods. It's very simple. I'll just cut this over length. First thing to do, very easy, tie one end of these onto your swivels using a uni knot again. Please don't use blood knots, they will slip under pressure. There's the top snood tied on. Do the same with the bottom one. They're tied on. Cut off the tag ends, keep it neat. The next thing to do is to put your bait stops on. So they're tangled up there. We've got the float stops, so I'm going to match the colours to the sequins. So on both hook snoods, I'm going to put a red float stop. That one's on that one. I'm going to find the bottom one. A red float stop on there. And you push right up the line. Now we put the sequin on. And it's just a case of tying the hook, but you've got to get the hook in the right place so it can at least be clipped onto the clip, the bait clip. So, the best way to do this is with the hook on the line, straighten your rig out. Now what can work is to get the bait stuff out of the way. So hold the 2 lines together. And what I tend to do is find out, pinch the point on the hook snood directly adjacent to where it matches up with the knot on your rig body that is above the bait clip. So there's a bait clip, there's the bait clip knot there. So I'm pinching the line here, which is adjacent to it. I'm going to slide the hook down like that, hold that in place. Cut off too much of this excess line. I'm going to tie the hook there. And when you tighten this knot, it will probably slide down about 1 inch. But because we've got a 5-inch gap, or a 5-inch bit of play on the bait clip, I know that there's plenty of leeway for this to clip up. So let me just test this out. There we are. So it's now hooks sitting there. There's a bait clip. I can pull that bait clip tight. So there's your bottom hook in. We can move that stop down afterwards. Then we do the same with the top. So on the top, we've already got the float stop on the line. We then put a sequin on the line. We then slide down a hook. We hold the rig together, snood and rig body, hold them tight. We then find the point roughly where they're level, which is about there. I'll pinch that, cut off the excess. And then tie the hook there where I've pinched it. Again with a uni knot, winner knot. Right, there we have it. Trim that off and we can clip that down, and it's quite simple. So we've got, let's go from the top. Got your hanging snap, your first hook snood in place there with your bead, you swivel your bead, 2 figure-8 knots. Then you've got your hook snood with your float stop and your sequin as a worm stop that gets slid down to the top of the worm. You then get your bait clip in place with the protection bead there, and then below that you've got your second snood. We'll pinch the line there under your second snood. Then you've got all the same again, which goes down to your bottom bait clip, and then your lead weight. Very simple, very effective rig for distance, short range, for trying to pick up different species. And with it being clipped down, it's always good to clip down your bait. 1, it gives you more distance if you're casting, it makes it streamlined. 2, it protects the bait from getting like smashed to pieces with the pressure that's put on it in a cast. And also it stops your rig from tangling, because if you cast a rig that's unclipped, you'll often see it spiraling through the air like a helicopter, and that tends to lead to tangles. So it's always good to clip your rigs up. Anyway, I hope this has helped, and I hope it helps you catch some fish.